You know, for horror movies about living dolls, they're pretty lifeless. The Boy 2 continues the story of Brahms, a porcelain doll who finds his way into the home of a family after they go through a tragic burglary, leading to their youngest son clinging onto Brahms for the family only to realize the doll's more sinister nature. That's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I, like many of you out there, was kind of surprised we got a sequel to The Boy. The first movie, The Boy, that came out in 2016 was a bit of a surprise for me because it's one of those rare movies where a big chunk of it is just so bland, not really interesting, almost just kind of forgettable, and then you have those last 5 to 10 minutes and it kind of saves the movie for you. And I won't lie, because of that ending for the first movie, I ended up having some enjoyment with the film, but then all that more confusing when you hear, wait, there's a sequel? How did that happen and you're still emphasizing this doll is evil? Did you not see your own first movie? But nonetheless, we got this sequel and it's not any better. I really do mean it, like I said at the top of this movie. I don't know what it is with modern day evil doll movies, but they're just so lifeless and bland. You have Annabelle, you now have The Boy, you have some other knockoffs that go straight to DVD. I don't know what happened to the renaissance of an evil doll movie, but they are all just the same, where these dolls, all they do is sit down, stare, and turn their head slightly, move their eyeballs, and that's it. Some of you regular viewers of my channel will know I'm a huge fan of Chucky, but even Chucky aside, doll movies were very lively back in the day with The Puppet Master, Demonic Toys, Dolly Dearest, Dolls, Trilogy of Terror. I hate that the norm for an evil doll movie is that they just sit there, because it just leads to a repetitive formula where the movie starts off with, you have a happy family, family meets creepy doll, someone noticed vague, strange things, people don't believe the doll's alive, oh wait, something's going on with the doll, and then you have your ending. It is so formulaic that it's just not that interesting. I will praise some things in this movie in their attempt to build off the lore from the first film, because like I said, if you know how the first film ended, you're like, well, how do they make a sequel? They have a unique way of approaching it, in where they give you a history of the doll, add some backstory, basically give it a little bit of an origin, but in the same time of doing that, you're retconning your own first movie, where it even further doesn't make any sense to what was really going on. The biggest thing that bothered me about the movie is that it's riddled with dream sequences. One of my biggest pet peeves in movies is when there's dream sequences. And I'm not talking like an Inception or a Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm talking about those scenes where it feels like they're in real life, they're walking down a hall, and then something weird happens, a jump scare, and then they wake up from their bed and they're like, oh. That happens about 6 or 7 times in this movie, and it is just flat out annoying, because that is a huge chunk of the film's scares throughout the film. To then find out that they're all fake and within a dream, just don't add any weight to this film. Feels like they were really only made for trailer purposes to trick people into thinking, oh, we got some scares in this movie for you. The doll does creepy stuff this time. One thing I am happy about with this movie is that they did not go with the same twist of the last film, because based off the marketing, it really felt like they were just gonna do the whole same twist and the audience was just supposed to pretend like we didn't know. They do something different, but it's not any better or even on the same level as the twist from the first movie. In fact, one part of the twist involving a certain character just doesn't really make any sense, but there's a sliver of hope here. If these last 3 minutes of the movie could have been expanded upon, or even been a huge chunk of this film, I could have been singing a different tune, because there's something at the end of this movie that will actually have you excited as a horror fan that's like, okay, now we're talking, let's get going, let's see what you can do. But the movie cuts it so short, doesn't play around with it, and it ends it off so quickly and rushed that it kind of makes the entire movie just feel useless. I think even people who like the first movie won't come out enjoying this one as much. So for The Boy 2, I'm gonna give action 1 star here. It's a very slow-paced movie. There's not a lot of action going on or even chase sequences, and like I said, a lot of the action happens within a dream. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 1 star too. There's really no humor, no moments of levity in here. If anything, there's just some cringe-worthy scenes that just get you laughing at the actual movie. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars too, and that's for their attempt to build the lore out and try to explain the history behind this doll. It just falls flat by the end of it, and it kind of retcons your first movie that is arguably way better than this one. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give it 1 star too. There are really only 2 horrifying scenes in this movie. 1 is spoiled in the trailers, and 2 is that sliver of hope that I was telling you about, but you only get so little of it. It just doesn't make the whole movie worth it. And suspense of the film, I'm gonna give it 1 star too. There was very little suspense in here, especially by the 3rd time you have a dream sequence, you just realize everything going on isn't even real. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a C+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a C-. And critically, I'm going to give it an F. For The Boy 2, I recommend if you really like the first movie, maybe go ahead and rent this one.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
2020 has been a horrible year for horror movies thus far. The closest thing to a good movie was Underwater, but even then I wouldn't categorize that as a horror movie. It's more of a thriller, so Invisible Man, come and save us. And for you out there who want to check out my spoiler review on The Boy 2, I'll have it on the podcast channel, so make sure you subscribe to that at Film Strippers. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.